Breaking news from the NASCAR world today. To start this episode, NASCAR has announced this week that they will be removing the playoffs from the Xfinity Series starting next season. Quote, "This is a chance to experiment for what we want to do with the Cup Series format," said Steve O'Donnell. This move will begin a wave of NASCAR experimenting, a shift towards a more traditional racing format from what we've seen in the past. There you have it to start today's episode. Hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of our My Driver NASCAR career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. A lot to dissect here today, as well as we have some playoff racing here in the Truck Series, as you quickly see the playoff grid going into elimination race at Bristol Motor Speedway, where I'm already locked in due to a win in the first race of this first round. I messed up the grid though a little bit. I actually had 4 people going out instead of 3. Only 3 drivers get eliminated. So you saw it though at the start of the episode with the breaking news. The playoffs will be removed from the Xfinity Series next season. We will be making our start in the Xfinity Series full time next season. So it's going to be interesting to adapt to a non-playoff format. If it works in Xfinity, you can see the playoffs get eliminated as well from the Cup Series in this series moving forward as well. And NASCAR is going to be experimenting with a bunch of different things with the points compared to the usual playoff format in this series. So very excited to see where it goes, and let me know what you think about the playoffs being eliminated starting in the Xfinity Series next season. There's it still will remain in the Truck Series and the Cup Series, at least for next season. But we have this race to focus on here in Bristol, the elimination race of the first round of the playoffs in the Truck Series. Like I said, we're already locked into the next round. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. The same track where we got our first ever win in the Truck Series earlier this season here. And now, as we came from an open wheel background, we've adapted to the short tracks pretty well compared to any other track on the schedule, even compared to the road courses here. But underway here on the first opening 10 laps, and I was saving my tires as usual, just trying to make sure we bank it down a little bit in stage 1 and 2. In stage 1 and 2, about 20 laps apiece, so at the end of lap 40, stage 2 will be complete, and we'll race it to the end of this race from there here in stage 3. But very overall, a calm opening stage for myself in Bristol, as I did let Matt Crafton go past there in that number 88 Menards truck, but I was holding my own and holding on to a strong top 5 run here as we close in already towards the end of stage 1, battling side by side with IDK player, aka Jonathan Ramos there on the inside in that 07 Silverado. I knew it wasn't going to be an easy task to win here back-to-back Bristol races, but it was a cruise to stage 1 victory there for John Hunter Nemechek over Ben Rhodes and Sheldon Creed. Matt Crafton and myself would come through to finish there strong inside the top 10 as well. So caution was out. There's no pit stops necessary here at the end of this very just straightforward, very calm first and opening stage. So we would get ready to go green for the start of stage 2, which would get underway with John Hunter, Ben Rhodes on the front row. Another 15 or so laps racing in this second stage due to those caution laps at the end of stage 1, leading into the transition into the beginning of stage 2. But John Hunter Nemechek, obviously the favorite going into the next round of the playoffs. He's already locked in on points. He cannot get eliminated, even though he hasn't won so far in the playoffs now, as he's got the most wins on the season of anybody, though. He's got 4 wins, which has been an incredible season for that KBM driver, and I would expect to see him potentially make the move up into the Xfinity Series alongside myself. So I might actually announce my Xfinity ride in the very next episode, so stay tuned on that. There's definitely some spicy news with the Xfinity Series coming up in the future here in these next couple episodes. So in the next episode, I hope to actually wrap up the next round of the playoffs, and then the episode after that we'll have the championship race, and then we'll have the Xfinity Series starting. So about 3 episodes time, we should be a full-time Xfinity Series driver here. Now, as you can see in stage 2, I was abusing the tires a little bit, maybe once again a little bit too much here as we come through towards the final 5 laps of the stage. John Hunter checked out again over Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes, but I'm here now in P4, so 1 spot better than stage 1, and we came through to start the final lap of stage 2, and we got Creed on the inside behind us. We got Matt O'Brien on the outside of that number 26. He's picking it up a little bit lately, but it was John Hunter Nemechek coming through as usual to sweep stage 1 and 2. He's swept a lot of stage 1 and 2s this season, and then usually, though, quite often when he does that, he actually goes on to lose the race victories. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues here today in Bristol now, as there was no pit stops necessary again. We would get ready to go green here on row number 2 on the outside here for the start of the third and final stage of the elimination race in Bristol. I wasn't really keeping too many tabs on the playoff situation because it was pretty wide widely spread apart, I should say, where basically if you were out, you had to win basically to get it in at this point compared to what I showed you guys earlier at the start of the episode. So there was absolutely nothing up here that was looking like it was going to be maybe a surprise driver getting into the playoffs, as everyone that was in the cut line or above the cut line was all running good enough to where they were going to be safe. Here you see myself now going up to second place alongside Matt Crafton in clear on the exit of turn 4 of Matt Crafton, and immediately we jump to the outside and attack that number 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. We got the win at this track earlier this season. I would love to defend that Bristol win with another Bristol win here the next time we come here. So here I am now taking the lead out of turn 4 from John Hunter Nemechek. We are clear and away we go with 27 laps remaining, but unfortunately, immediately after I took the lead, I kind of stalled out and my tires started to pay the price and I wasn't pulling away, and actually it turned into now defending over John Hunter and Ben Rhodes. Hunter Nemechek on the inside and Ben Rhodes on the outside, side by side behind us, and I couldn't drive away. Like I said, I was stuck right here, and now Ben Rhodes is going to make it 3 wide on the exit of the corner here, side by side as we go down into turn 3. You see Nemechek had to back out of it a little bit. I was a little bit annoyed just by that maybe over-aggressive move from Ben Rhodes, so I let him know about it down into turn 1, give him the bumper, and it didn't really affect him, and he would actually be able to drive away. I was falling off hard in these closing moments of this Bristol race, so clearly I abused the tires too much towards the end of stage 2 and at the beginning of stage 3, because then John Hunter, he would go around on the inside. Then I had a mirror full of Sheldon Creed as well as Matt Crafton, and thank goodness we are locked into this next round because of that win at the beginning of the round, because right now I can see us being in a little bit of trouble here in these closing laps. Now as Matt Crafton would actually get into my left rear quarter panel and turn me into the side of Jonathan Ramos here with 14 laps to go. We save it somehow, but that made the truck drive even worse. So I was dropping like a rock. It was so bad, and I was just hanging on for dear life, just bringing it home at this point. No chance in the world of getting a top 10 now, maybe even not even a top 15 at this point. There's Carson Hocevar goes around us. Austin Hill as well would be able to complete a pass, and at this point it was just about, like I said, bringing it home. Ben Rhodes, he won in the last episode there, locked himself into the next round of the playoffs, got his second win of the season. His first one came at race number 2, the Daytona Road Course, and he was about to go back-to-back here as we were closing in on the final lap here in Bristol. 2 laps remain, and I'm outside of the top 20 at this point, behind Michael Marutz, who's just having a really rough race. He will be returning to the Truck Series next season, I can confirm, and he will likely be able to move up to Xfinity after his second attempt here in the series, at least we hope to see. Now, as we came through to the final few moments, Ben Rhodes exits turn 4. He will go back-to-back, winning 2 races in a row, 3rd win on the season. John Hunter in 2nd, and that trend continues, sweeping stage 1 and 2, but losing the overall race victory as everybody comes through to cross the line, and I eventually managed to salvage a 21st place finish out of all of that there. So not the finish we were looking for when we were trying to defend our Bristol win, but overall I was just happy to get this round of the playoffs done and over with and focus on race number 2 of the episode and the first race of the final round before the Final Four. There's only 2 rounds of the playoffs in the Truck Series leading into the Final Four, and there you see the new grid. So JHN is 39 above, Sheldon Creed 19 above, I'm 13 above to start this round, and Ben Rhodes is 13 points above. Chandler Smith, as well as Matt Crafton and Zane Smith, all below the cut line, 9, 12, and 13 points below coming into this round that kicks off at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You guys know mile and a half's not my strength. Cannot stand these racetracks. So there's no worse track to start off this round that kills my confidence more than a mile and a half racetrack, and it started off with a really rough qualifying effort, not even inside the top 10 as we would get underway for the first race of the new round of the playoffs. Sheldon Creed, Ben Rhodes, Jay Cook up front there, John Hunter Nemechek, and Jonathan Ramos as well, rounding out the top 5. But I'm sitting here already on lap 1 thinking the only way I'm going to really get a true good finish in stage 3, because what I do at these mile and a halves is I burn my tires up too much, and then by the time we get towards the end of stage 3, I'm just hanging on for dear life, dropping down the order. So the only thing that I can really try and do is try and switch up the strategy compared to what the AI do. So I was planning to make sure I pit at the end of stage 2 when everybody else is likely going to stay out. So we'll give up a lot of track position, but it will give us fresh tires and more longevity in stage 3, and hopefully that can make a difference. And maybe even if I'm finding enough of a pace and managing my tires enough, we could potentially even win this race with that strategy and not even have to worry about Talladega in the next episode, as well as Martinsville Speedway. So 2 tracks that can be a lot of chaos. Now, as we came through into lap 5 now, 10 laps in stage 1 and 10 laps in stage 2, by the way, and then a 20 lap dash to end this race. And we were now coming to 2 laps to go already, and this is a pass right here I'm trying to make on Stuart Friesen to get into the top 10. So we would get into the top 10 coming to now 2 laps to go. So we're in the stage 1 spinning position as actually the caution comes out, and that was actually a pass for 9th on Friesen, but that's going to end the stage right there. So we're only going to get 2 points, and it appears the caution was for Travis Brown, who appears to actually have a bunch of right side damage, and he stopped on the track. A weird moment right there from Travis Brown, but that would send us now into stage 2. You see the quick top 10 order I scrolled through on the bottom right there, and that would lead us into the now start of stage 2. And what I did in stage 1, I saved a lot of tires in stage 1 because I wanted to push really hard in stage 2, trying to get as many stage points as I can in case we find ourselves in trouble with this strategy for stage 3 with the pitting, and that could of course lead us into some type of chaos because we're at the back of the pack having to work our way through a whole bunch of trucks. So my ultimate goal was to go for the stage victory here in stage 2, and you can see right now Ben Rhodes, John Hunter Nemechek, and Creed, your top 3 as we go down into turn 3, and I'm already making a good chunk of passes here. We're going to try and look to the inside of the number 18 of Chandler Smith, to the inside as well of Matt O'Brien there. As you can see, John Hunter to the lead here at the end of this opening lap in this second stage here alongside Jonathan Ramos. Now, there's less than 10 laps of racing here in stage 2, only 8 laps to go. So we have a good opportunity here to really push as hard as we possibly can because we only have 8 laps until we're pitting, and I'm expecting fully that the AI will not pit at the end of stage 2, which works perfectly for us. Now, if they do pit at the end of stage 2, that pretty much wipes any strategy idea that I ever had. So we hope that doesn't happen. We get past Jay Cook, we would get past Ben Rhodes, we would get to the outside of Sheldon Creed here on the exit of turn 4, coming to the now 15th lap of this race, and that would be 6 laps to go in stage 2. And we would get clear of them, but then I make a big mistake right there on the exit of turn 2. I knock the outside wall down and do quite a bit of damage to the right front of the truck, and as soon as I did that, it like flatlined me. I couldn't gain anything on John Hunter Nemechek. We rode right here to the end of this stage here as John Hunter Nemechek would come through to win stage 2. Another playoff point for him. We crossed the line for second place. Cornelius, Kraft, and Roots in the top 5, and then of course you see the other drivers come through. So to my perfected strategy, you could call it, nobody pits. That was up here. There was some cars towards the back that pitted, including myself, of course. So we come in, 4 tires, fill it up on fuel, repair the truck first of all, because we did quite a bit of damage actually to the right side and especially right front of the truck. So now we were all the way at the back of the pack here for the start of stage 3. Jay Cook, one of the drivers that came into the pit lane, Ryan Truex as well, as we would be underway for the start of stage 3. John Hunter Nemechek out in front once again here. Now, as it's been a little bit since we've seen John Hunter go to victory lane, but can he pull it off here tonight? Because I got a lot of work to do to move my way through this pack of cars or trucks. I got 30 trucks to pass basically, so it's going to be a tough feat, but I think we have a really good advantage with those fresh tires, and I'm really able to make that outside work if I want to. So we have a lane that's kind of wide open and free for me to go into that as well gives me a lot of speed. So I feel like our chances are pretty good actually of getting at least into the top 10, top 5, and maybe going for the race victory. And at the end of the first lap, we had already made up some good ground. We were up to 22nd place after getting aggressive, getting our elbows out, going for it. And then you see me go up to the wall here through 1 and 2. You see Hocevar up ahead of us. He was on the wall, but I just continue moving forward. We were inside the top 20, passing Friesen to the inside of Parker Kligerman. And as we came through to cross the line, was still 18 laps to go. Now up to P13, nearly inside of the top 10. And you can see up in front of us, John Hunter. He was still leading over Crafton, and then it was Jonathan Ramos. He would get up to 3rd now. So I'm going to make a pass on Haley Deegan. I would pass Todd Gilliland as well. And eventually we were 3 wide with Michael Roots, and we would actually get inside of the top 10 here through the center of the corner. We actually made a little bit of contact with Roots. Thankfully, it didn't turn us head on into the wall and kill us, but we're okay. So we continue focusing on passing Cornelius now for 7th. But the race for the lead started to change. Jonathan Ramos would go and take the lead from John Hunter Nemechek in these closing laps. IDK player leading the way, trying to win his first race in the Truck Series after making his debut about halfway through the season. John Hunter Nemechek fell all the way to me. He was down in 4th place. He really fell off. JHN fell off. I never thought I'd get to say that, but we would pass him and move up to 4th place and just continue picking off cars with now less than 10 laps to go. We passed Chandler Smith, and up into 3rd place we go with 5 laps to go. We run down Ben Rhodes in 2nd place, who's had a stellar playoff so far. We blow his doors right off, showing that these tires are a huge advantage. So 3 laps to go. We're reeling in Jonathan Ramos. He wants his first win, but I want my 4th win and my ticket into the Final Four. This will punch our ticket into the Final Four if we win here today or tonight under the lights in Las Vegas. Now, coming to the final 2 laps, I don't want to be to the inside. I'm more comfortable going around the outside of somebody, so I wanted to make sure I could actually hold that outside on Jonathan instead, so I give him the inside. He tried to cover me off a little bit, but we're going to go to the outside here, up to the wall, side by side for the lead with IDK Player on the exited turn 2 near the end of the outside wall here. A lap and a half to go, side by side down the back straightaway. Who is going to get back here first here on this final lap in Las Vegas Motor Speedway? This is really right here where I can really show those tires and their advantage now of their freshness. And sure enough, we clear Jonathan Ramos on the exit of turn 4, and we lead the way to the white flag. We played the strategy to perfection here tonight in Las Vegas. Without that strategy call, we had no chance of winning here in Las Vegas. We probably would have been in the bottom part of the top 10 if we were lucky. So we come through at a turn 2, though. We get to the outside wall. That might open the door for Jonathan to build up some momentum down the back straightaway, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough there, as that didn't hit the wall too much, and we lead the way through 3 and 4 for the final time in Vegas. Ramos on the inside, myself in the middle of the track. Out of turn 4, we are going to come through to get our 4th win on the season and go back-to-back by winning the first races of the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and we lock ourselves into the Final 4 in our debut season here in the Truck Series. Now, as you can see, the rest of the field coming through to cross the line in Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and what a race. A beautiful win for us to pick up, win number 4. That's tied for the most on the season. We have really been clicking on all forms here with the team and the speed and just the talent levels, you could say, here in these closing moments of the season. Here you see the immediate playoff grid, so we are locked in. John Hunter, he's good by 41. Creed, 23. Rhodes by 20. Smith, Crafton out by 20. Zane Smith out by 28. They are going to need some help going into Talladega, where anything can happen, and as well as Martinsville. And you see the overall race finishing order. So in the next episode, we will be going to our final Xfinity Series race of the season at the Charlotte Roval. Very excited for that, as well as we will be finishing out this round of the playoffs and deciding the Final 4 at Talladega and Martinsville. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Thank you all to the members who'll be at the end of the episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.